Knightline is brought to you by the Dever Team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to www.thedeverteam.com and call UCF alumni Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636.
Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and this is Knightline 230 from the award-winning Knightline Sports Network. Joining me as always,
Trace Trylko. Hello, everyone. We're talking with two of the newest Knights in the NFL, Knightline exclusives with Nate Evans and Nevelle Clarke. Plus, UCF men's soccer head coach joins us on the Knightline hotline. And why are the Cows using a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in their recruiting materials? That in Ask Knightline. But first,
okay. Congrats.
how long can you listen to that song?
I had it queued up to play for like 30 seconds. I'm like, I can't do it. Okay. It was a little slow. I got to get rid of that. All right. Congratulations to more than 8,600 UCF students who graduated over the weekend. A new springtime record for UCF. UCF awarded more than 7,160 bachelor's degrees, 1,245 master's degrees, and 145 doctorates. The virtual graduation featured two prominent alums giving a commencement speech. You may have heard of these guys, Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin. Just ahead, we'll hear from the Griffins, who took part in a Zoom session with the media, and we'll listen to their speech in its total later. It was a good speech.
I think considering the difficulty of pulling these things off, University did well, just as we saw with the NFL draft, pulling off a virtual graduation ceremony. And congratulations to now what's more than 350,000 alums
That's crazy
out there
if you
that have
think about
graduated
that.
from UCF.
It's crazy.
I love seeing all the photos of people celebrating with their families and parties that they had. And, a little more scaled down than they might typically have done, but maybe a little closer with a tighter knit group of people being able to congratulate them. And, boy, you wish them all well. It is a tough world to be entering into the job market at this time, but we wish them all the best.
Yeah, a lot of us are entering back into the job market.
They're competing with you.
Exactly. Well, I'm getting my job back since we were furloughed, but anyway. Yeah, it's a rough time in general for people and jobs and everything else. So if something good could come out of that and they could graduate and get their diplomas and all that stuff, I think that's awesome. So I'm glad that was able to happen.
Yeah, so a couple of availabilities UCF provided this week, Shaquille and Shaquem via a Zoom session. And then late in the week, Eric Mitchell, the linebacker, we were able to speak with him as well. So do appreciate UCF doing this because, it's difficult to generate content in times like these with practices and games and sports to follow, baseball, softball, those sorts of things would be coming into the home stretch right about now. And so it's good to talk to the former players, current players, coaches, and the likes.
All right, so we have some clips here. Let's play Eric Mitchell on improving his game. This was a question that you asked, Trace.
What's something in your personal game that you feel that you need to improve upon, and how do you do that in this environment?
Right now, it's hard, but in this environment right now, I wouldn't even say it's hard because I'm still working on anything I could get better with, even if that's getting faster, my shuffling technique, getting to the ball quicker, my coverage drops. I'm still working on all that right now. So I wouldn't say it's a strange environment because everything's still getting worked on as if I would be when I was in Orlando.
Of course, the big question, which we won't know until everyone is reassembled across all sports, football, right, is what's being in shape and being in game day shape, and just how much time. They're not going to all have same access to equipment, not all going to have perhaps the same level of commitment, right? And you're going to see some differences. And, as the talk goes, how much time do you need to provide players? You hear the range that it seems no shorter than 4 weeks, and maybe no more than 8, and maybe somewhere in between lies the answer that will end up being what they do should they be able to come back together. But this is a question for all of these guys. You didn't have the benefit of all of those spring practices. They got a little bit in, but they didn't get everything in. And I find it interesting how, especially with players, they're more comfortable with technology than perhaps some of their coaches, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there are ways, and we've talked to coaches, we talked to, Coach Lovelady and coming up Coach Calabrese. Maybe the technology also allows you to get to know some people in different ways and brings you together a little bit differently, as we have seen through personal Zoom sessions and the like. You do and can communicate with people, and maybe you get to know them in a bit of a different way.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness we're starting to open things back up again, and hopefully this will get everything rolling. So, all right, you also ask Eric Mitchell about Nate and how you could replace Nate in this defense. Interesting response here.
I had opportunity to speak with Nate Evans. How do you replace a guy like that on defense?
With Nate Evans, we actually still have him in our linebacker group chat. With the type of bond we had last year with Nate, it's really hard to take him out even though he's gone. Like, we love him so much. And, like, when he got signed to Jacksonville, we actually had a conversation with him, tell him just to go up there and grind and do him and be the best he can be, and wishing him congrats.
All righty. Well, that was interesting as well, just because they're like, oh, he didn't answer the question, but he kind of, said that they're not taking him off of their list on their phone contacts and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
Nate is such a good guy.
I really enjoyed catching up with him and talking with him. But, I look back as we're putting together the show, and a pretty good action-packed show here, huh? I mean, we've got a couple of good interviews, so some good content here, and we wish all these guys the best, and you'd like to think maybe Nate can click with Jacksonville. They have had a history of having UCF guys on the roster.
I hope so, because he just sounds during this interview so horribly excited. So hopefully he gets what he deserves out of that opportunity. Let's hear from Nate.
UCF's leading tackler in 2019 takes his skills to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now Nate Evans is talking to us. Nate joins us now on the Knightline hotline. Nate, congratulations. How does it feel to have inked your NFL contract?
Man, it's just words of joy. I kind of actually really didn't believe it when it first happened and everything was in the process. But, man, it's just words of joy, and I'm so grateful that I get, another opportunity to go play and enjoy the game that I love, and man, once I put pen to paper and the contract was finalized and everything, man, it was, like I said, man, it was just that wonderful feeling that I really couldn't explain, and I'm just excited, I'm excited to go and be a Jaguar.
I can't see you through the phone. We're doing this over the phone, but I can tell that you're smiling. I can hear it in your voice. We've all seen your smile, and we know that it's great, so it's good to hear you smiling like that.
Oh, yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Look, y'all know me well, so y'all should already know, man. I'm smiling from ear to ear, like a Kool-Aid smile. So, man, I'm just grateful and excited, man.
Where were you? And tell us about the moment when you heard from the Jags.
Well, I was at home. I'm back home in New Orleans. I've been here since kind of the pandemic outbreak. And really, it was like in the 6th or 7th round, my agent was just kind of keeping in contact with me and, just telling me about, okay, look, if you don't get drafted in 6th or 7th round, so far, these are the offers that we have on the table, and like I said, I was really excited just to know that I was going to get the opportunity to ball again. If I would have got a phone call, that kind of would have just been a glory, to all my hard work, but the hard work is still not, it's still noticed by someone, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy that the Jaguars gave me that opportunity.
So did you have multiple teams and opportunities that you could have taken?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Would you be interested in telling us who those were or not?
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I could give you a few off the head. I had Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, Indianapolis Colts. I had the Packers. Like I said, my agent, we made a list and, everything, and he kind of told me what the deal was, and I had that list. But those were just some of the names that
that's
that I
cool.
had off,
That's cool. So why did you pick
sir.
Jacksonville? What was the big deal about Jacksonville?
Well, with Jacksonville, man, it wasn't even about like the money or anything. It was just the contract that they offered me. It was a better deal. I get to be a Jag for not just 1 year, but a few more years, and just have the opportunity, like I said, to ball and be a part of a team. So that's what kind of made me, take that deal from Jacksonville. Just kind of sitting down with my family and like, all right, look, I'm not worried about the money. I'm not worried about that. Let's see what's going to be the best position for me, to go and compete for a job and play, and the rest will handle itself. I just need to get on the field.
Right. So this isn't just a temporary thing. It's not just a normal free agent thing. This is a long-term free agent contract.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, that makes a huge difference. You know that as well as everybody else does. I've described you, as we've been talking, as a bulldog and a guy that works really, really, really hard. And I said the entire time, even if you didn't get drafted, I knew that you would be successful and you would get a job because you work really hard. And I know you work hard. You're one of the hardest workers out there, and you're a machine when you do it. So,
yes, sir.
I mean,
yes, sir.
What's the next step? What do you have to prove to them, and what do you have to show them to prove to them that you are that?
To be honest, man, just coming in as an undrafted free agent and, just being an underdog, I have everything to prove to them. You guys already know my personality. You guys know that I'm a good human being. So not even from a football aspect, I'm trying to go in there and prove to these guys, I'm a good human being. I have a good heart. I'm a great football player, and I'm trying to be here for a long time. Not just temporary. You know what I'm saying? If I could, I would like to retire as a Jaguar. You know what I'm saying? Just to being a guy that they will fall in love with, and that they just want me to be around them. For however many years to come. When I get there, like I said, man, it's just everything to prove. Like I said, I'm the underdog, so, I'm just ready to go to work. And, I've been in these shoes multiple times in my life, so that's why I'm not down or sad or anything, because I know, that's just fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just ready to get back in Florida, my second home, and just take over Jacksonville like I did Orlando.
Take us through the process a bit. You didn't have opportunity at a pro day, so how were you conversing with teams, and what sort of questions did you get, and how were you able to prove yourself through technology?
Exactly. Like you said, man, I kind of had to go. We didn't have a pro day. I couldn't take any of my visits. I couldn't do any of my workouts that I had with NFL teams, but to see that, I was a high priority free agent, like I had deals, for me while the draft was still going on. So that just shows you, that the hard work, it paid off. And man, like I said, going in, the undrafted free agent, I have a lot to prove, and just like, still to this day we will be able, to communicate. It'll be through phones, through iPad and stuff like that. It's kind of a different time. Because of the virus, but everything was through technology, FaceTime calls and phone calls and email and stuff like that. So
when you first set foot on UCF's campus, the first time you practiced with the team, could you have envisioned a few seasons later that you would find yourself in this position?
To be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. Just, as an athlete, this is a dream, that all athletes have. Everybody wants to be an NFL player, you know what I'm saying, after their college career. And this is just something that I spoke into existence from like the age of 5. I always will tell anybody who asks me, like, I'm going to be a football player, Well, if that don't work out, what's your plan A? Your plan B? my plan B is to make sure that plan A is to work out, and plan A was to be an NFL football player. So, like, this is something that, like I said, I've been preparing for this my whole life. I really don't know anything else to do, even though, you know, God blessed me with a few talents, you know, book smart and stuff like that. Football it's just my passion. You know, football has my heart. So I've envisioned this for, you know, the longest. You know, like I said, I've spoken this into existence, and I'm just like, it's just time to work. You know what I'm saying?
What drives you? There's a hunger. I hear it in your voice. I've seen it on the field. What really just drives and motivates you every time you set foot on the field?
Just showing, you know, just trying to show the world and show my peers and my, you know, my teammates and family and friends that the underdog does prevail. Matter of fact, the underdog always prevails, you know, just because he's so hungry and overlooked. You know, that's basically what drives me, man. I really and truly, I want to be great. Like I said, there's nothing about, you know, the money for me. It's not about the fame or the attention, because to be honest, I hate, like, you know, like that attention. Not to say I hate it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a big fan of that. You know, I kind of do love a private life, but I love my fans and I love my supporters. But yeah, I just, you know, like I said, man, I just have a lot to prove to my family and also to myself. You know, I don't compete with nobody but myself. So, like I said, it was something that I spoke on from youth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just ready to go in, compete for a starting job, no matter if I was a free agent or, you know, they wanted to pick me in, bring me in for a workout, or that they drafted me. I'm truly and honest, I'm ready to go and compete for a starting job.
And you love to be the underdog as well, right?
Oh, yes, I love it. I love it, man. It's just so much glory. You know, when you do and you accomplish what so many people thought and said that you couldn't do. Just so much happiness and so much hunger. You know what I'm saying? That I don't know, like it drives you crazy. Like that want to be successful and want to be, you know, just a positive person in the world. You know, it drives me crazy. Like some nights I don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? Just like thinking about, okay, Nate, what's my next move gonna be? You know, how can I capitalize upon this opportunity or you know, this, you know, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? It just drives me crazy.
You had a lot of success during your tenure at UCF, but during 2019, you really got after it. Was there a turning point in the season where you felt like this was Nate Evans' year?
Yes, sir, man. I really would say that loss to LSU, you know, kind of was a turning point for me, because I don't know, you know, that LSU game was a little personal for me, you know, being that I'm from New Orleans. That was a personal game for me. But then, you know, to say that also, you know, we lost that game, and you know, man, it just had lit a fire, you know, inside of me. Like, you know, I want to be successful. I want all my brothers to be successful. But whether we win or lose, you know, as long as we gave it our all, you know, I feel like you kind of have the glory at the end of the day, even if you lose. But if you gave it your all and you get better and you come out, let's say you come out with that loss with some more knowledge or, you know, some more wisdom, then in my book, you won. You know what I'm saying? So that, I don't know, man, that summer, I would say, going into my senior year, you know, it was like, all right, Nate, we're going to be in the playbook. We're going to be working out, putting in the extra work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to have all my brothers around me as much as possible just to build on that connection. So, you know, when the season comes, you guys seen how much fun we had. You know, even though we lost some of those games, you know what I'm saying? You guys seen how much fun and how much love we have for each other. And that was just something that, you know, that just kept me going. So,
well, you didn't have that pro day. You didn't get to show off the 40 speed, but we did see you versatile in the Gasparilla Bowl, carrying the ball a bit. You still revel in that? And we all know, right? I mean, you scored there.
Oh, of course. I mean, look, honestly, I feel like UCF, you know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and look out for me. Put that touchdown in the record books. You know what I'm saying? But, man, that was just an awesome experience, you know, just to finish my career out and let Coach Hype allow me to go to offense. And, you know, because I actually played offense, you know, growing up. I played running back like my whole life besides linebacker. So it just kind of, you know, opened up some memories and some good times. And I'm real appreciative of that.
Have you had to keep that phone charged? I imagine it's blown up a bit. Who have you heard from amongst your teammates and coaches?
Oh, man, I'm just getting so much love from everybody. I mean, all of the seniors, even some of the younger guys, Coach Hype, Coach Fannin, even some of the coaching staff from the old staff, have just been hitting me up. A lot of my old coaches back in New Orleans, some of the people that I've met along my journey, like in Hawaii or in California or, Pennsylvania, anywhere that I've been and I've met somebody. It's just so much love coming my way. You know what I'm saying? How can I be mad or how can I be, not excited for this next journey? With all the love that I've been getting, man, it's just a real, truly, humbling and experience. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can't really put words to it, but I'm just happy, and I'm not even happy for myself. I'm just happy for everyone else around me that I kind of got to bring some joy into their life, during this downtime, this time of pandemic and this time of hurt and not knowing what's next, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of got to be somebody's light for a little moment, and that just kind of made me proud.
Well, Night Nation saw you grow as a player over a couple of seasons. They also saw you emerge as a leader, and you leave with a legacy that, as Andrew said, we can see you smiling through the phone. Night Nation smiles when they think of the play you've given them. How does that make you feel to know that your legacy is that of a hard worker who carried himself well, who progressed and really earned a place in the hearts of Knights fans?
Well, man, it's just real, heartwarming for me, and I'm real happy. Like I said, not even for me, but to know that I'm making my mom, my grandma, my dad, my stepdad, my brother, all my loved ones, my friends who I played park ball with, you know what I'm saying? Just knowing that I'm making everybody proud, you know what I'm saying? That kind of just makes me, make me proud of myself and makes me happy, and knowing, all of my hard work and staying the course, staying obedient, even though it was so many obstacles and stuff that could have veered me to another path, myself, just being positive, and like I said, being obedient and knowing all right, Nate, you have a goal at the end of the road. You ain't reached it yet. I still haven't reached it yet, but just being obedient and kind of seeing everything fall into place, and God just having His hand over my life and my family's life. It's just real heartwarming.
You enjoy these moments now, but as you close this chapter on your UCF career, an awful lot of hard work lies ahead for you to achieve the next goals that you have for yourself, not only in football, but in life.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like I said, I'm kind of I'm real excited, just to be able to be in Florida again, and have that love and support from Night Nation, just knowing that, okay, I got some love behind me. I got some fans, some family, some friends behind me. How can I lose? You know what I'm saying? All I can do is win. I'm in a winning predicament. So, like I said, that just drives me and fuels me. You know what I'm saying? And to just want to do good and want to do great for my peers and my school, my community, my city. You know what I'm saying? It just drives me.
Well, Night Nation is listening, so if you have something to say, you can directly speak to them right here.
Hey, Knights, man, I just want to say, man, I love y'all. There's no facade, no fakeness, man. I really love Night Nation, man. I love my fans. I love the students. I love the coaches, the teachers, the staff. I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate everything from you guys, opening up your school and your state, with open arms, taking in this NOLA boy, you know what I'm saying, this little Cajun boy, man. I really and truly appreciate it. And also my family, because I see that the love and respect that you guys have for my family and that you give them, man, and it's just real heartwarming, and I'm going to continue to, strive and be the best Knight that I can be. I'm going to take you guys on this journey with me. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I appreciate it. I love you all from the bottom of my heart and also my family. Go Knights, charge on.
That was awesome, my friend. Absolutely awesome. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, nah, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Anything you guys need, let me know. If I'm in Florida and you guys in Florida at the same time, y'all want to get something to eat, just not even just anyone, anybody who have love and support for me, you know what I'm saying? We could do it. Let's do it. I'm I'm for the people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a selfish guy. So
all right.
all love.
Well, we will take you up on that. I promise.
Oh, yes, sir.
He's a confident guy.
Yeah, he's cool. He's totally cool, dude.
A lot of energy there. And again, you hope that he can click on there. You certainly know he'll have the drive, right? You
Absolutely.
know, he's going to fight for a position. And it'd be interesting to see how, if they get OTAs, what kind of training camp they get, what they're able to do. Because, you know, especially as an undrafted free agent, does that put him a little bit behind competing for a roster spot? Maybe he has a chance to click in on a special teams unit or something like that. So
hopefully,
it was really good that we were able to catch up with Nate. Well, ESPN says UCF has a better chance than the Gators of making the college football playoff. We're going to discuss that. Plus, we're talking with former UCF cornerback Nevelle Clarke next, only on Knightline number 230.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com. Our next guest led UCF with 11 pass breakups during the 2019 season. Nevelle Clarke goes to the next level as the newest member of the Minnesota Vikings, and he joins us now on the Knightline Hotline. Nevelle, congratulations on signing an NFL contract. How does it feel?
It feels good, you know, to feel appreciated and to have someone believe in me to go to the next level and to showcase my talents to the rest of the world. You know, it just feels good. I worked my whole life up to this point to get to this point. So it feels good to be with the fam, to be able to enjoy it. Unfortunately, that the virus is going on, but I mean, I'm spending more time with family, you know, back home. So it's great.
Where were you when you got the word that it was the Vikings?
I was home with my family.
So you got some other offers as well, though. Do you want to name any of those teams or anything?
Well, the only ones with like the major ones was the Chargers and Cincinnati Bengals. You know, I was going to go at Cincinnati because I knew I had built a close bond with the Cincinnati Bengals coach. He was with the Jets when I was at the East-West Shrine, and I was trying to get with him. But I'm guessing there was more options out there that was better, and which was Minnesota. And, you know, I was going to go with San Diego, but I don't know. I just felt like Minnesota could have been a better home. You know, it's on I'm not going to say really the East Coast, but, you know, it's not on the other side of the world, you know, like, but, you know, as far as the choices, though, I just felt like Minnesota was the best one, and I could fit their scheme the best, and, you know, have a better possibility of starting, like having playing time in Minnesota, you know. So that was my whole focus with the options.
Well, your good friend Mike Hughes is there as well. I'm sure that helped a little bit.
Yeah, I talked to him too. So, you know, I can't wait to get up there with him, you know, to reunite with him. You know, we talked for a little bit after the news, and yeah, we both can't wait to get back and doing what we used to do, you know, locking up on that outside. So feels good to be back with my teammate.
You mentioned the East-West Shrine game. What was that experience like for you, and being able to showcase who you are as a person and your skills?
The East-West Shrine, it was good because, you know, you got players from all over the world, all over the country, specifically, you know, that comes out there, and I get to bond with them, meet new teammates, and I get to see how they play at their school, or, you know, it was a whole week of preparation before the game. So we had lots of meetings and hangout time. So it was a good experience from the a business standpoint as far as football and as far as like meeting new people, because we meeting new NFL coaches every day. We got people that's trying to talk to you, get information on you. So the whole thing is new for you when you're coming out of college, because you're not really able to do that during the season. But the East-West Shine, it was good. They had us doing something every day, whether it was helping children or just going out and having fun and practicing, and it was the best thing. It's top 5 of the things that happened this year. This year has been but short but long. This virus making it long, seem long, but other than that, it was going good. I had the East-West. I was at the Combine. Good experience out there. And,
that was what I was going to ask you next about, actually, was the Combine. What was the experience like with that? That's, I think, a thing that a lot of kids dream about, is going to the Combine and being able to show what you got in front of people like that. I mean, they make the thing larger than life.
Right, yeah. So at the Combine, it was good, because I'm coming from Florida, and I trained in California for the past couple months prior to the Combine. So just getting out of Florida and seeing more of what's on the other side of the world, not other side of the world, but the other side of the country, rather, it was good. And to go to Indianapolis, my first time seeing snow, literally, like, first time seeing snow. I got off the plane, like, as I was getting off the plane, I'm realizing that it's snowing. Like, I had to ask somebody, like, is that snow? Like,
that's cool.
That was my first time seeing snow, and
you're going to see a lot of it up there.
Yeah, I know. I got to be ready.
And you were one of those players that it seemed like really could have benefited by your pro day. Talk about that missed opportunity and how you think it may have impacted where you were in this draft.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that we all didn't have our pro day, and it affected a lot of people, not just me. Like, it's crazy that this virus came out of nowhere, but we can't dwell on the past. We can only move forward from it, and like, I wanted to run the 40. That was the thing that was going to help me, because I didn't run it at the Combine, so that was going to showcase my speed. I wasn't able to do that. And that's what majority of the teams was, that was their concern. So I don't know what too much to say about that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that also, you dealt with some injuries during the season that kind of lingered on for you as well, into the Combine and stuff like that. And I don't know if people understand that you can't do that kind of stuff unless you're 100%. You have to give it your all, and if you're not healthy, you can't do that.
Some people don't understand that. You're right.
It's just one of those things. Maybe talk a little bit about, you don't have to disclose injuries, but maybe talk about playing injured and how difficult that is.
Well, I played injured a lot throughout half of my time at UCF, and I'm a very tough player, I'm not going to sit myself out if I know I could play. If I know I could play, if it's going to hurt but I know I could play, I'm going to play. And, I'm going to play to my best ability, I'm not going to try to show that I'm hurt or nothing like that. And, I'm a team player, I play for my team, you feel me? And that was the main thing. Like, this year, it was unfortunate that things happened my senior year. I got hurt, but I just wasn't going to sit out. I'd rather play through that with my brothers, sacrifice all I got to play with my brothers. So that's the main thing. Like, I just never been the type to sit out. I never want to sit, and I do whatever it takes to get on the field. So
it was never really noticeable, except for one time that I was talking to your dad about today. It was after an interception that you made, and you kind of hit the ground kind of hard after that. And just the look of you getting up, I could tell that things weren't right for you at that point.
Yeah. I already know what interception you talk about. So.
Yeah, because I know that you felt it when you got up. You could tell.
Yeah, I was feeling it the whole game. I actually wasn't supposed to play that game.
Recently, the media had opportunity to speak with UCF secondary coach Willie Martinez, who described you as having the it factor, saying that during more than 30 years of coaching for him, that you are one of the best game day performers he's ever seen. His quote is, he's in my top 5, if not top 3 of game day players. When you hear that kind of compliment to you, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel definitely good. I don't know. That's just something about my ability that's in me that, like, when game day comes, like, it's just a switch. Like, I'm locked in, I'm full focus, and I got one goal. It's to stop the opponent and let's get a win. So I want to do everything I can in my power to help this team win. So for coming from the coach, it's good because that's my coach, and like he be on me hard. And they don't try to, like, ever, like, give me the easy way out. They always hard on me. So, like, it's tough love. And, they help me a lot. And I can appreciate that from my coach.
Based on the feedback you've gotten, what do you think you need to do to improve, to excel at the next level when you're able to get to a training camp with your fellow Vikings teammates?
Well, I got to stay healthy, That's one of the main things, to stay in the league, you gotta stay healthy and be locked in. So for me, I gotta stay up with my body, make sure it's 100%, and stay locked in and be ready to work every day, get better every day, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I've been doing it my whole life. I'm not gonna stop now, and I'm eager to play. I'm ready. So whatever it takes, that's what I'm gonna do. And if I gotta do extra, I do extra. And there's no problem with it. It's a game, a sport that I love. So it'll be easy. Well, it won't be easy, but like, I have that confidence that, like, I'm gonna do it. So I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
absolutely. What do you think about that division that Minnesota is in? Is that an exciting division to play in, do you think?
All I could think about it is it being cold.
Well, you're playing an indoor stadium, so it's nice. But there's a certain guy that is in that NFC now that wasn't before, that might be kind of exciting to play against, that plays for Tampa.
Oh, yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah, that's crazy. I was talking about that yesterday with one of my friends. Like, I run across Tom Brady. Look, one thing I got on my mind, I gotta pick off the GOAT. I gotta make a play. I gotta make a play. So I gotta make my name get out there. I gotta make it buzz. So whatever it takes, that's what I'm gonna do.
You gotta keep that ball. You gotta make sure and keep that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. It got to be. It's gonna be framed, hung up, or whatever.
I imagine your phone is blown up. You've heard a lot of love from family and friends and fellow teammates. What's that been like, hearing from so many different folks?
It feels good, like, I feel a lot of love from a lot of people and the support, they behind me, and, it just feels good to know that there's other people out there that's with me and that's behind me and that's watching what I'm doing, and it's motivation for some people. So, I got an edge on my shoulder right now, and, I know people watching me and just, I just can't wait. I got something for everybody that believes in me. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do what I got to do. So I can't wait.
You're always going to be looked upon fondly by Knight Nation. You get ready to go into a new chapter of your career, your football career. What do you think the legacy is you leave behind? How do you think Knight Nation will look back upon your time in the black and gold?
I know they're going to remember me. Maybe, I don't know if they're going to remember the Peace Bowl, if they'll remember me doing the handstand, me doing the one-hand catch in camp. I mean, not in camp, but in spring practice. I don't know. It's a lot of things. I don't know. Me and Knight Nation had a lot of memories. We had some years together, so I couldn't even tell you, but I just know that they'll remember their smile, the good vibes that I always brought around. I always had smiles around there, always trying to uplift people. So, I mean, they should be reminded by my humor and my character. So,
absolutely. All right. Hey, Nevelle, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to watching your progress up in Minnesota. We'll definitely be watching.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
Well, various reports indicate he signed a contract more than six figures, $100,000 plus. Vikings, however, drafted 3 cornerbacks amongst 15 picks in the draft. So there is some competition in front of him, and as an undrafted free agent, he's going to have to compete against some guys that they thought that they should pick in the regular draft.
That's a pretty good deal, though, for an undrafted free agent. That's better than the league minimum, that you would normally get. So I think that they wanted him for sure.
So a lot of competition, though, for him.
Absolutely.
And, But you know what? There's going to be a lot of competition at this level for any guy, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they're
obviously
all going to have to
had,
compete for spots.
Yeah, obviously they had a real need there if they're drafting corners and bringing in corners free agents. So it could work out to be better with having a bunch of guys there. Find the one that shines out of everybody,
And again, what they're able to do in terms of a training camp remains to be seen, and he is certainly a guy that will need that opportunity to show what he's got.
I think all these NFL teams are going to get going here pretty soon because their season's really coming up quick.
It's all coming up quick.
Yeah.
All right, well, so 2 of the 4 guys into the NFL on this episode of Knightline. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Who do you think has a good shot, just looking ahead a year, to 2021 NFL Draft? Hey, it's content. It's things to talk about.
It's like totally a year. We haven't even had the season yet, and you're asking about who's getting drafted.
I'm just going to throw you out some names. Underdog Dynasty put together a list of players that in the American that they thought might get a look. And there were, about a half a dozen UCF guys.
Okay.
Otis Anderson. Versatile, maybe a little undersized.
Yeah.
Is he kind of in that Adrian Killens mode where he could fit in somewhere like that?
100%, yes. But he's going to deal with that size issue as well. So, I mean, I think he's more versatile of a player than Adrian Killens is, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
I think he does more, really, because he really works as a running back and really works as a wide receiver. He's going to have to work on his punt returns still, though, to do that in the NFL. They don't want you muffing any punts like that.
See him being drafted in 7 rounds, or more along the lines of that free
agent thing, I think.
Bentavious Thompson, running back.
He's going to have a heck of a year this year to really make his name out there. I mean, people have seen some of what he can do, but he's never really held the starting role, and he's never really had the opportunity to show what he can do through an entire season. So I think that's iffy as well.
And in the offense UCF runs now, we've talked about, you mentioned that you think it's possible to have 2 1,000-yard running backs.
Easily.
He's the kind of guy that he needs to get to the 1,000 yards to really kind of make a name or really rack up those touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, him and Greg McCray, sorry, thank you. Him and Greg McCray would make such a tandem back there, I think, because they're both incredibly fast and shifty, and they can just. I think it would be a heck of a 1-2 punch.
Again, for
when
UCF,
one gets tired, bring in the other, and boom.
But
boom,
whether
boom.
that translates into an NFL draft pick, again, UCF could be served well. And will be served well by these guys.
Well, Greg McCray has had his 1,000-yard season. Now we need one from somebody else, Bentavious or whoever, Otis Anderson. I mean, it could help anybody that gets a 1,000-yard season. I think at any level, it helps them.
So at wide receiver of course, we see Gabriel Davis go to Buffalo a couple years back. It's Traquan Smith to the Saints. What about Trey Nixon? Going to have to see a lot more progress from him, I would say, in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way the guy plays most of the time. I've said that I thought that he was kind of lazy numerous times. I said it a million times last season. And I just think that from what I've heard, though, he has been working very hard this summer, or this off season, I guess I should say. I don't know why I say summer. It feels like summer. It's already summer in Florida.
What's our 1148 studios temperature?
It's 83
degrees.
But it's it's just this room is tremendously hot because all the computers and stuff. He just needs to work as hard as he possibly can and show that he is willing to catch some of those balls that are just beyond where he is natural catching. That's one of the things with him that I've called him lazy over the time, because he's not one that just naturally will dive for a ball. He did a couple times last year, but there were some that went past him.
Do you stick by that word? Are you comfortable with that word?
Lazy?
Lazy.
I am. I absolutely am. Because you see other guys diving for those balls and he won't do it.
Is he Gabe's heir apparent then?
I mean,
is that who...
technically he probably is,
right?
But hopefully somebody else steps up. I mean, you're going to have to have him on one side of the field and the other guy on the other. So Gabe is a big guy to replace. A very valuable player to replace.
But we say that about every guy that's big and you have to replace.
Yeah, but...
We said it of Traquan. That's a tough guy to replace, and then they did.
And did really anybody actually replace Traquan, though? I mean, Gabe kind of did, but he didn't put up the numbers that Traquan did, I don't think. I think Traquan's abilities and numbers were a little higher than Gabe's still. I may be wrong.
And again, it's a position where you're loaded at talent.
Yeah.
Flash coming in as well.
Yeah.
There are a lot of options, and guys like Otis who can catch the ball and stacked it running back. So you got a lot of weapons, and whether any guy shines in a particular statistical category may be diminished a bit.
I would like to see the tall freshman really take over that spot. Cradle, I think, is his last name. Josias or something like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's like 6'3" or 6'6" or something. He's tall. So it would be nice to have a tall receiver there that could go up for because Gabe was a bigger guy than Trey Nixon. So Trey Nixon, I think, in the NFL would be more of a slot receiver. He's the size of a slot receiver, not an outside receiver. So you never know.
This article also lists guard Cole Schneider.
I could see that easily. I mean, he was a freshman All-American. I could totally see him. I think he's still got a year left, though. He's not a senior this year, so I don't believe. I think he'll be a junior this year, so I wouldn't expect him to go. A lot of offensive linemen don't go early unless you're something very, very special. Now... Parker Boudreaux. Do we worry about him?
I wonder where he's going.
Yeah, well,
AEW in wrestling seems to have.
I saw an article on on like ESPN or something the other day, or somewhere, of him saying that he's the Jim Ross again, saying that he's the next.
Is it just
Brock Lesnar? Because he looks like him.
He looks like him, but we don't know what. I mean, he's a pretty big guy.
It's the same thing with like Steve Austin and Goldberg back in the day. Goldberg was this new kind of Steve Austin guy, and then all of a sudden Brock Lesnar came along, and then he was supposed to be WWE's Goldberg, and then Goldberg came. It was like they always fight back and forth. Yeah, good for him. If he can go and do professional wrestling and not have to play football for the rest of his career, he could probably have a little bit more longevity playing or doing WWE or AEW wrestling versus, professional football.
Cole Schneider's on the roster listed as a redshirt junior.
For this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how he's listed on that roster.
Yeah. Last year was sophomore, so yeah.
So next one, Richie Grant.
I could see that as well, but he needs to have a heck of a year because he was
got
kind
lost
of
last year.
Got totally lost.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest disappointments of last year.
And then Nate, upstaged him as the season moved along, and you got more attention on Nate and certainly less Richie, because remember, Richie was on all those watch lists going into the season as well.
And he had all those interceptions the year before, and like 6 interceptions or something like that, and was really off the radar most of the season. I mean, he played, obviously, and he was back there, but he didn't really do anything special most of the time.
And then the last name that this article lists is Aaron Robinson.
Aaron Robinson. Yeah, corner. I could see that. I mean, I don't think that he would have to all of these guys, I think, to be drafted. For any of them to be drafted, they'll have to have a heck of a year.
So the potential, just looking right now,
potential
is maybe difficult to get a guy picked a year from now. I mean, we'd have thought Gabe would have been a guy that would have gotten drafted. There's probably going to be
one out of that group, one or two out of that group.
Oh, that'd be interesting, because I think that's something we've been talking about is can UCF, with this system, continue to put talent into that NFL draft, into the pros, like it was under that pro-style George O'Leary offense. It can be interesting to see this.
It's definitely more difficult. I mean, you see the numbers are a little different, so there's,
So there's some names, and it's interesting. It's something. It is. Something
to
talk about in May.
It's interesting for sure.
A couple of football notes. UCF defensive end Jalen Pinckney, enters the transfer portal.
NGE.
Redshirt junior, appeared in 4 games in 2019, making 5 tackles.
Yeah.
Did you see who, by the way, entered the portal from the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers?
No.
Quarterback Noah Vedral.
Really? For the second time he wants to transfer. Now he wants...
Well, I feel for him, right? Because he went back home. He went back home to Nebraska, but not working out there.
That's funny. I mean...
They got to do what they got to do, these kids.
Well, I'm one of those guys that wishes nothing good on Nebraska anyway, so I guess that's just the way that I am about it. So as much trouble as they can get in, as much trouble as they can have, I'm all for it in Nebraska.
I thought it was an interesting name to see in the portal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
And then,
maybe he's trying to play for a different team every year or something. Get 4 years each at a different school or something.
What was the quarterback we talked to? He bounced around a bit. Was it Schneider? Bo Schneider?
He went a couple different places.
And then he went somewhere else.
Texas A&M. Yeah. I think he's probably graduated by now. I would hope. I mean, who knows? He might be on his 6th year or something because he's sat out 5 times or something.
Oh, goodness. And then ESPN's Football Power Index. By the way, we cannot overstate this Football Power Index. If UCF's left out of it, we trash this poll. When UCF's included in it, we just love this poll.
Oh, we had a long talk about this morning, actually, and I want to find my bookmark on my computer here of this.
UCF checks in at number 14. The highest the Knights have ever been ranked, highest in the state of Florida.
Well, I think more importantly than UCF being ranked so high is that USF is ranked so low. That's my enjoyment out of this.
It's twofold enjoyment.
It's absolute twofold enjoyment. I mean, they're actually ranked negative in this. So
how can you get ranked negative? What is the way in which they determine?
Really, that you have no chance. I mean, we're okay.
You have less than no chance.
All right. So the negatives start with Michigan State. Actually, Michigan State at 67 is the first negative. So they have negative 0.1.
But how do they determine a negative? What's your score based upon?
I have no idea.
This is my turn to stump the band here.
I read this earlier on the show this morning. I'll read it again. The Football Power Index, FPI, is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below average the team is. Projected results are based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI results to date and the remaining schedule. Ratings and projections update daily. FPI data from seasons prior to 2019 may not be complete. Okay, so FPI, Football Power Index, that measures the team's true strength on a net point scale. Expected point margin versus average opponent on a neutral field. So, it's basically saying that that the University of Southwest Florida Community College is going to suck. That's what they say.
So according to this index, they
Excuse me for my language, suck, but
UCF has a 10% chance of making the playoff. I really doubt that it's even that high in their eyes. But
well, I mean, that's the highest. I mean, that's really high.
You take it. You take it. And the Gators check in at an 8% chance of making the playoff Final Four.
Yeah. They're in the FPI rankings, they're like right now 2 ahead of us. They're at 19.2, we're at 17.3 as far as the FPI, but the Power Index, they're 12, we're 14. So, but then when you go down the line here to the other stuff, the one that we're above them on is the playoff thing. So,
because of the route that we have,
I believe so,
through the American to get that guaranteed a better chance than them winning the SEC to get there.
But if you look at this as well, and we talked about this morning as well, Boise State, I believe, would be, it's kind of interesting because they're way low in this thing as well, and they're supposed to be the perennial top of the Power Six with us, supposedly. They're 7.1 ranked, and they're ranked 35th. So they're way back there as well. The next one in the American, we looked at this earlier too. Our FPI is 17.3. The next highest one would be Memphis at 7.0. We're ranked in the Power Index of number 14. They're 17. They do a percentage of winning your conference. We have 77.2%, and they have 12%, and they're the next highest.
Well, that's quite the gap. So that's an overwhelming favorite that they think. Where's Cincinnati in that? So they had Memphis ahead of Cincinnati even.
So Memphis is ranked number 37 in this Power Index. Cincinnati is ranked 46.
Wow.
They give Cincinnati a 7.4% chance to win the American. So
again, rather be ranked in these things high and get the pub and get the talk.
They also give us though a 16.2% chance of winning out, which is interesting for right now, and that's the second highest. No, that's not right. It's the third highest percent chance of any college football team. So Clemson is given a 58.8% chance because of the weak ACC in their division to win. So 58.8% chance to win out for them. Ohio State, 18.4% chance to win out. Then followed by UCF, 16.2% chance to win out. Then followed by Alabama Crimson Tide, with 12.4% chance to win out.
It's something to look forward to. It's something good to talk about. And
there's lots of numbers in here.
You want to be ranked in this.
I used to not be a numbers guy, but I have become a numbers guy much more. And I like to look at things like this. I love to see the percentages of things and then look back on them and be like, they were totally wrong, or whatever, so... especially with these simulations. So there's a column here of percentage to win 6 games. We have 100%
I would like to think
chance,
so.
But that drops off very quickly for other LSU 99.9.
Did they go? So they've got the best probability there on winning all the games for UCF.
Yeah, that was the other one to win out. That's what I was just talking about. We're one of 3 that, there's only 4 that are above 10%, and Alabama's below us on that list, which is really good. I love it again when teams like Alabama, Florida's not even anywhere close on that one. So.
They have a much more difficult path. They got to win their division. They got to beat the West champ. they got.
I understand that, but still, it's just nice to be ranked above, certain schools in these things. It's nice.
That's right.
So we'll see when that preseason ranking comes out, the real, poll data comes out, and we'll see where they put us. If they're giving us so much credit in this thing, in the FPI.
Save that one. Bookmark that, and let's compare when those other rankings
I mean, they have
out.
us listed basically as ranked number 14. So I don't think that they're going to give us that high of a spot.
Again, I still think they like that top 25 billing in North Carolina and UCF in a season opening game. I think they like touting that.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. Just ahead, we go in depth with Scott Calabrese, UCF men's soccer head coach, on how he spends his days in a safe-at-home world. Coach is next.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley, reminding you to tune in every Sunday morning at our new time, 10 to 11 a.m. on ESPN 580 Orlando for Knightline the morning after. Brought to you by Chad Barlaw. We'll be taking your calls and your texts reacting to the previous week's UCF sports action, and you never know who will show up. Once again, that's Knightline the morning after, every Sunday morning, 10 to 11 a.m. on ESPN 580 Orlando or TuneIn Radio. Go Knights and charge on.
Raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney is our commitment to you at Chad Bar Law. I'm Chad Barr, and as a UCF alum, I am proud to present Knightline, the morning after show, Central Florida's only call-in show dedicated to our UCF Knights every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And remember, if you or a loved one are injured in an auto accident, call us at 407-599-9036 to schedule your free consultation or visit us at chadbarlaw.com. Our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices Altamont Springs. Go Knights. Charge on.
UCF men's soccer head coach Scott Calabrese and his team were about halfway through the spring schedule when COVID-19 halted activities. UCF finished the 2019 season 15-3-2, finishing 10th overall in the United Soccer Coaches Poll following a 2-1 overtime loss to SMU in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. What's Coach been up to the past few weeks? He joins us now on the Knightline Hotline. First, Coach, tell us how you and yours are holding up during this stay-at-home situation.
We're really, really fortunate. We're doing great. I have 3 young children, so we're kind of running our own version of a Montessori school in the mornings, and they're doing great, adapted really, really well. Everyone, first of all, is healthy, and we're doing the right things, laying low, really kind of limiting our contact with the outside world, just going in and getting groceries and hanging out at home and trying to work as best we can. My wife works and has a full-time job, has a great career. Luckily for her, she had been doing this remotely. And, I have now learned how to remotely be a soccer coach to the best of my ability and the best that doing that allows for us to be effective. So, no, we're doing great. Thank you.
Good to hear that. Before we talk about how you're adjusting to being a coach remotely, let's talk about the previous season. You guys had a tremendous campaign. As you look back on it and reflect on it, how do you feel about the season?
I'm super proud of our guys, and I'm incredibly happy with how we progressed throughout the season, how we've progressed over really the last 3 years. I think we continued to improve from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and thought that we were able to compete with pretty much. We felt comfortable no matter who we played on any given game that we had a great chance to compete and win. So I was really excited. I was very happy to see 2 of our guys drafted as well, and with a potential opportunity to continue their careers beyond UCF. So fantastic season for us.
From a recruiting standpoint, how have you, during your tenure, seen the name UCF be able to attract a better quality of recruit than when you first got to UCF?
Well, I think it's on a number of different levels, our brand overall, and how we are looked at, in particular in Florida, as an elite school. And that comes from the whole of the athletic department. Obviously our football program has been tremendously successful, and that brand is somewhat ubiquitous. And then, other programs have performed so incredibly well that we are looked at in a really, really positive light, for a lot of different reasons, and then our program, has put together a couple good seasons. And so our brand and how we're looked at is very positive. And so from a recruiting standpoint, I feel like we are able to attract a really high level player. We're in really competitive recruiting battles with top programs, and we've had our share of success with that as well. So it's all trending in a really positive direction for us.
Let's talk about your players. You have a very international roster. How are they and their families doing as they're spread out back at home with the people they care about?
Yeah, we check in with them quite often, and we've they are all safe. They are all healthy. They are all trying, they're all in their kind of own individual environments, as you try to always look at the positives and kind of reinforce to them the positives. They're with their families. And, when you look at, they've probably not spent as much time with their family, and obviously they're all 18 to 22-year-olds, but they probably haven't spent this much time with their family in like 10 years. And so I think, when we talk to them, it's incredible that people are being able to spend this kind of time with their family, reconnect with them. And so that's a real positive. They're all healthy, and doing well. There are obviously some challenges. Jonas Schmalbach was from Northern Italy, and so he had returned to Northern Italy. And so it's really interesting to hear what he was going through and what was going on there. But we have players from all over the world. So Costa Rica, Israel, France, quite a few, Argentina, Brazil. So as we kind of speak to different players, you get a real kind of broad view of how other countries are dealing with this and how they're individually dealing with it. But so far, everyone sounds great.
So, Coach, with guys in different situations like that, and it sounds like you're trying to keep things positive, has your job kind of turned into more of a psychologist sometimes a little bit, especially with trying to keep things positive and all that stuff, because everybody's going through different stuff.
Absolutely. We ended up looking at what it is we can do in this situation, because we cannot obviously train or play the game. We are not permitted to do anything physical in terms of like having like a Zoom yoga class or a Zoom workout. So what we really ended up focusing on, and I think this is really something that we maybe wouldn't have had a chance to focus on if not for this situation. We focused on our guys, not only their mental health, but we started to get down to examining like what is the purpose of our program, what are the core values of our program, what is your purpose and what is your why, and why do you wake up in the morning, why do you want to be a part of this program, and what motivates you. And we took this approach and looked at our whys as individuals, as soccer players, as students, and then tried to take it a step further. And we said, okay, well, what are you doing with your day, and how does it connect to your why? And and what is your routine. And so you get up in the morning and these are the things that you do, but you say you want to be this. So are you really spending enough time doing these things? Is it going to get you to where you want to be? So we've spent a lot of time in discussions, which are incredibly beneficial. They're beneficial for us in terms of our connection with the players and really getting to understand them as human beings. We spent a lot of time discussing our program, what we value and what we believe in, and how connected they are to that. So this whole process that we've engaged in is probably a process that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And we hope that it really deepens our understanding as a group and really deepens kind of their understanding of themselves and their commitment to who they're trying to become.
Yeah, and that's something, like you said, that you normally wouldn't do. So it has to be, I would think that it would be extremely beneficial for everyone, especially getting to know each other, getting to know some details that they maybe wouldn't have had before, and you getting to know details about your players that you wouldn't have known before, probably.
Yeah, I think this has, I think this could really bring us together in a, oddly, we're so distant, we're so far apart, but I feel like this could really bring us together in a different way. And now that we've done this, I sit there and I'm like, we probably should have been doing this more often while we were here. So I think we're trying to turn this situation to something that's incredibly positive.
Earlier, you'd mentioned being a remote coach. Give us a sense of what is a day in the life for you. What is a typical day as you balance homeschooling and family concerns as a coach? What's a typical day look like, if there is such a word?
Yeah, I think so. My wife and I try to coordinate when she has calls, when I have calls, and when our children have calls now. And we try to divvy up the day and create a routine and schedule for the day. And then we go to work. I might start with the kids and feed them breakfast, get their computers set up. And which, by the way, is very strange, as we were a family that was very much trying to limit screen time. That's whole philosophy is out the window. So now we put our kids on there, we get them going with school, and then my wife finishes her calls. She comes in, and then I step into the office and get on the phone with our staff. And today, early on, we had a staff meeting. We discussed different aspects of our program, what we had to do. We probably spent about 30 to 45 minutes doing that. Straight away went into an individual meeting with one of our players. And basically we're having meetings now where it's just an end of the season meeting with the three coaches. And we talk about all sorts of things. We make lunch for the kids. We eat lunch. Somewhere in there, I get in a run and 45 minutes of yoga. And then I usually leave the afternoon for different projects. Because there's also so much unknown, we're constantly being brought into meetings, either on an administrative level where we're getting information and having to act. Obviously, our conference lost the University of Cincinnati. So one of the main topics of discussion right now is how do we adjust and pivot in our schedule. I always leave about 2 to 3 hours of flexible time where I can have different conversations with different administrators and kind of act on those things.
You mentioned Cincinnati. When you heard that news, what was your reaction, especially since the American has, fewer schools playing men's soccer than some other conferences?
I was really surprised because I knew that they were searching for a new men's soccer coach. And so I was surprised to hear that they had moved from searching for a new men's soccer coach to eliminating the men's soccer program. It's obviously it's a worry that the NCAA is considering legislation that I think lowers the bar in terms of how many sports can be sponsored, and so you worry not just for men's soccer, you worry for other non-revenue Olympic sports and how it could impact them and the opportunities for those kids. But it was disappointing to hear it. It's a great school, and they had a good soccer program and a soccer program that's been around, I think, since 1972 or 3. So I'm always disappointed to hear when a men's soccer program ends up being terminated. So
I don't know where they were in their spring prep when this decision came down, but where were you in yours? You had some opportunity to get together with your guys when everything was halted. What was disrupted, and when are some deadlines coming up that you would be looking at in a typical calendar?
Yeah, so in our spring prep, we had played a number of games. I think we had played 3 games. We played like a international team kind of early on, and we played Orlando City B. And of course, anytime you play a high level team, it's so illuminating. You just get to really understand what it is you're doing well, what it is you need to do better. They create a whole different set of problems. And that Orlando City B game was a great blueprint for us to then move forward for the next phase and to really give us guidance in terms of, okay, what do we need to work on? So we had played UNF, and I want to say we had 2 more games left. And we had constructed something called the Florida Cup, which was going to be a spring competition and 2 divisions. All of the Division I members from Florida were part of this competition, and we were in a good position in that competition. And basically we missed the last 2 games in the spring. So, and we had really, I think, made some progress. So that was, coming off spring break, basically the guys did not come back. So it was disappointing. I think as we talked to our guys, in these individual meetings, they felt like they had made progress and were really ready to make the next step. It's something that we have to deal with. In terms of different things that we missed out on, we really wanted to have an alumni event this year. And that was something that we were really disappointed we didn't get a chance to engage our alumni. We had decided we were going to make a big push to really bring more and more alumni back to our program, be more connected with that group. We had a very internal focus for the first 3 years where we were trying to build our program up, and we also felt like, okay, now is a really good time for us to turn our focus outwards and really make a concerted effort to get our alumni involved. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to do that. So that's going to have to be tabled to the fall.
Where would you be in terms of putting together a schedule at this point, and what are some deadlines that are coming up on the calendar that you'd be eyeballing?
Well, the schedule would definitely be done for 20, and we would be looking at now players would return for Summer B, and when the players all return for Summer B, it's a great opportunity for them to spend time together without really the coach's involvement and continue to build our culture. They generally get a chance to build their fitness. They do quite a few voluntary workouts, and right now Summer B is obviously no longer moving forward. So the next date we're looking at is the very beginning of August, which would be the start of our fall.
Not too far away.
No. No, it's not.
What is communication like from Athletic Director Danny White to you and the other coaches?
It's great. Danny works really closely with his group, and so we've had 2 town hall meetings where Danny has taken the lead. We've had a number of head coaching meetings where Danny's taken the lead and made sure that we're informed to the best that we can be informed, because of course things are changing constantly as new information evolves. And I think where the athletic department and how it's operated, I really think that they've done an outstanding job. Scott Carr, who is the person that I report to directly, we're in contact just about every day to talk about different details moving forward. There's a lot of unknowns, and so we end up discussing plans, and then plans for if things did not materialize in the way that we hope, that we have another plan. So, we're planning planning thoroughly and able to change decisively. And so, the level of communication with the coaches has been great. And then, we try to communicate as best we can then with the players.
That has to be comforting to you to have that open dialogue and know the most that you can know from the athletic director and staff as this continues to evolve.
It's amazing. I feel really lucky to be part of UCF and this athletic department. The way that it's the leadership conducts itself, the integrity of our leadership. It is, and it's especially important when you have a time like this, where so many things are unknown, where there are so many difficult decisions that have to be made. But to know that there are people who are just constantly working, and just in talking with the different administrators, we all would think, okay, when we work remotely, we're not going to need to work as much because there's less to do. There's twice as much to do, oddly enough. And so, we're waking up at our normal hours, and then we're working till 6 p.m. And so, there's plenty of work for us to do. And I know that they're working hard on behalf of the programs and the student athletes.
Well, you mentioned student athletes. What a challenge it must be for the students spread all over the place that they are to continue to focus on their academics, and as well for you and support staff to make sure everybody's doing everything they need to do academically.
It's an incredible challenge, and I think there was a really good podcast that I listened to, and it basically said that most people are the products of their situations, and that the situation generally wins. And I think as an athletics program, we try to put our young men in a situation where they're going to be successful, and that there are lots of these, safety nets to make sure that if something goes wrong or drops off, that, hey, we can re-engage that student in their academics. We can intervene. And a lot of those, the situations changed a lot, and a lot now relates to the self-discipline of the athlete as a student, as an athlete. And I think this is where we focused a lot of our conversations, and where we said, okay, we tried to connect their purpose to their routine. And I feel like there's this requirement now that they be more self-disciplined, which I think is actually a really good thing. At the same time, the academic staff is checking in continuously with them. We're checking in with them, and they still do have a tremendous amount of support available. Remote tutoring, remote mentoring, and then the coach is checking in with them. So I think it's a really good balance right now where we're asking them to be more self-disciplined and trying to say, okay, if this is what you really want to be as a human being, this is what you want out of life, then you know what, you've got to be motivated and committed to doing these things in this way. So I think, again, even though this is a difficult situation, we don't have to let the situation win if we really understand who we are and who we want to be when we come out of this.
Soccer, of course, is the global game, the impact felt worldwide. What impact do you think it has on U.S. soccer, professional leagues, the development of the national team? Everything just grinds to a halt, and you wonder if that halts forward momentum.
Yeah, well, something really interesting has just happened in U.S. soccer, and that the DA Academy was basically dissolved. And, U.S. soccer, I couldn't tell you how many years ago, but it was quite a few years ago, they created the DA Academy system, and that system has now disappeared, and U.S. soccer has removed itself from that space. And so it is an uncertain time. I do think in certain ways it may be better, because I do think that there's going to be some other entities that go to occupy that space, and I think ECNL will probably look to create a league that's a little bit more vertically organized, as opposed to, I think one of the difficulties, there's a lot of difficulties that we have in the U.S. as it relates to soccer and development, but we have had all these competing leagues. So you have ECNL, DA Academy, U.S. Club Soccer, USYSA. The removal of that DA Academy probably means the consolidation of a number of teams and a number of clubs into one entity, which could ultimately be better. But it's a difficult time for soccer worldwide. Soccer is not a game that you can play on your own. It is rooted in decision making in small groups and larger groups, and so there are some real challenges in continuing to be able to develop as a player in the tournament.
Well, as we wrap up, and we appreciate how gracious you have been with your time, final word from you. You are cautiously optimistic that things will come together. We're all in a day-by-day situation here, but perhaps the good in this is that you come together even more unified as a team when you're able to come together in person again.
Absolutely. I think the entire team and the entire coaching staff has committed themselves to the idea that when we're not just passing the time here right now, that we're trying to find ways to get better individually, to get better collectively, and to work on those things that we can absolutely affect. And so I have no doubt that when we come out of this, and this is a challenge that's been put forth to the group, because I don't think everybody is going to have this approach. And so I think it even will amplify what we are trying to do for our team. But if we really don't let the situation win, don't let the situation dictate what's going to happen to us, if we have the discipline and the commitment and the will and the understanding of who we want to be, then however many months from now, when this is over and we can get back on the field, we can get back in the classroom, that we will be absolutely ready for that, and we'll be better for it. And I think that's the best way that we can approach this for ourselves, for our families, and 100% for the student athletes.
UCF head coach Scott Calabrese, thanks so much for joining us on Knightline. You and yours continue to be safe and healthy.
Thank you. You too, guys. Stay safe.
I really enjoy talking to the coaches, and he's a talker. He'll explain things to you, and always gives you good post-game sound and all of that. So they are adapting, right, with technology, and certainly it's interesting to hear how he balances home life, a couple of kids, and all of that goes on in the household while he continues to do his job. So continue to stay safe, coaches, and continue to interact with your players the best you can.
And maybe you can actually see them again sometime and shave your beard, right?
7 weeks today.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think?
It's only down
It's
only down to your knees, and I'm surprised. No, it looks good. I like it. It's starting to get a little shaggy going on, which is good. It's good. It's a good thing.
Again, when I started this, it was.
You look even more like that guy.
When this is over, I thought 2 weeks. Yeah. You asked me before, how long are you doing this? When I go to my first UCF sporting event again.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
I may cave. We'll see.
You may look like a caveman. Looking like a caveman.
I'm getting by with it on the Zoom. Roundup of some news this week. Again, I left out the various coaches that took pay cuts. Kansas's coaches took pay cuts, athletic staff.
Was that Kansas or Kansas State?
Kansas this week. NCAA Board of Governors, I know you're a little bit passionate about this one. It gives the association's 3 divisions legislative councils until January to map out rules for name, image, and likeness pay. The agreement would have to be with a third party and not with the university the athlete attends. The athlete could acknowledge who they are and what they play, but the school's logo couldn't appear in the material.
That's interesting.
Well, remember Donald Delahaye, kind of a precursor to this. Maybe it wasn't the best way he went about it, but he sort of paved the way for some of this, right? He was saying that he wants to.
He said that on Twitter the other night that he felt like Rosa Parks, which is ridiculous.
People need to not invoke
this guy's
Rosa
fool.
Parks for everything.
Yeah, absolute fool.
But what he was getting at is some of what now they are talking about.
Yeah, but he ruined his career as a football player.
So how do you see this?
Come on.
Again, your long snapper might not be capitalizing on name, image, and likeness.
There's going to be some guys that make a bunch of money, and then there's going to be a bunch of guys that don't. So, I just think that it's kind of the NCAA has kind of always been about keeping it fair.
So I'm Dylan Gabriel. I'm quarterback Dylan Gabriel, and
I use Head and Shoulders shampoo or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But there will be no UCF logo clothing, and most likely can't utilize any UCF property to record anything.
Yeah. So they're going to have is it going to be a radio commercial? And they're not going to have,
Oh, I want to see.
Or is it going to be their eyes are blacked out? You can see a football player, but you can't really tell who it is. What are they going to do?
I want to see some of these guys doing these Appliance Direct commercials locally.
I'm sure there's going to be some of that. SMU football players did all kinds of ads.
Parker Boudreaux lifting up a washing machine.
Exactly. Yeah. Body slamming a car. Who knows?
But that's where it's heading.
It's going to get out of hand.
That's where it's heading.
It's going to get out of hand. I guarantee it right now. There's going to be all kinds of rules broken. People are going to get suspended because of things that they did that they weren't supposed to, I didn't know.
Well, you know how they give you that disclaimer at games where they talk about inappropriate contact between boosters and supporters, and
is that null and void now?
Well, I don't know. Right? What if you're a booster? You're well moneyed. You own a car dealership, and you already support the university, perhaps. And
what are they going to give them to do this? Are they going to give them a car?
Who negotiates that? And what did they ask for?
SMU got the death penalty for stuff like this. Seriously. And now it's okay all of a sudden?
Mm-hmm.
So say the car dealer says, okay, I'm going to sponsor the entire team. All the guys on the team are my, all of them are going to have, I'm sponsoring every single one of them, so I'm going to give every one of them a car.
Well, you can see where they're going to start to impose rules, right?
Yeah.
So
there better be damn good
alcohol,
rules.
Right? They won't allow them to do that.
Hopefully
tobacco,
some of them are 20,
vaping, marijuana, adult entertainment. Right?
I don't know about that.
Won't they roll out gambling?
I don't know.
Gambling?
Who knows? No, well,
I'm such and such player. I'm here at the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa.
It's legal in a lot of states.
Right?
All those things that you mentioned are legal in a lot of states. So who knows what it's going to be? Who's going to make that decision? Okay, you're approved to do this endorsement.
Yeah, is that the university now has to monitor that? They've got to maintain the academic integrity of the students, make sure they're going to classes and getting the grades, and now they got to have a running tally.
This is the beginning of professional athletes in college athletics, And then, with their other rules that they want to make with the transfer thing, that's going to be free agency. I mean, it's not college football anymore. I mean, it's going to be professional football.
So if UCF has a soft drink sponsor, I don't know who it is now, to be honest with you. I've forgotten who it is now.
It's Coca-Cola.
Are the players allowed to endorse Pepsi, or they can't come in conflict with the university logo
who knows?
brand?
Yeah.
Are they allowed to go out on their own and negotiate their own deal? And what's fair market value?
Are they going to have agents to do these deals? That's the other thing. If you have an agent, you're a professional athlete, right? Agents are normally the ones that secure endorsement deals.
So I exchanged a couple of text messages with Adam Eaton of the Sons of UCF, and he thinks we should plan to work with a football player or other UCF student athlete in a sponsorship arrangement with the Knightline Sports Network.
Who's going to pay him?
Well, again, maybe it's the backup long snapper or something. It's
going to be the backup long snapper's backup's backup if we're doing
Obarski.
that.
We got to be working with Obarski on this deal.
Obarski's going to be a legend here soon, I think. The legend of left.
But if you
right.
approach, you don't start off with McKenzie or Dillon or McCray or Otis, right? And you go to some other players, work out something. Oh, come on.
I have no idea.
You get these testimonials when we do these interviews. I'm so-and-so, and I listen to the Knightline Sports. Now they're going to say, well, that'll cost you $25
exactly.
to do that
exactly.
spot.
And, I mean, are they going to, if we want to interview them, are they going to try to charge us money to do that?
Well, think about this, right? Every year UCF does a fan fest where they have all the student
Charge
athletes
for autographs?
signing posters.
Yep.
Right? For some, I'm sure for all of them, it's a great honor. But will they be required to participate in an event like that? Can they do their own? Can they do it at the car dealership that they're now affiliated with and skip the UCF Fan Fest?
This is a nightmare for college athletics. A nightmare. I cannot believe that the NCAA
will it become
agreed to
NASCAR and auto racing like when they give you an interview? And so what was the key to success in today's game? Well, I want to thank my team at such and such.
Well, if I wasn't
Ford
wearing these
dealership.
Nike shoes and these,
There's
all
another
this
one.
stuff, yeah.
Are they required to? What if they affiliate with a different shoe sponsor, especially when you get into the basketball arena?
There's a lot of that going on anyway.
Now they're wearing brands that are not affiliated with
that
the university.
happens anyway, I believe, in basketball. And then in football it does too. Brands that aren't affiliated with the school. I think that people can wear... I don't think they can tell you what shoe to wear. I really don't. I think that... Because I know I've seen people wearing shoes that were not like Nike shoes and you're sponsored by Nike. I've seen that happen before.
So the NFL sent out rules for these home setups that they did during the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, this is our soda sponsor. So don't have... I don't remember who. Let's say it was Pepsi. Don't have Coke, right? So what if it's the same and the backdrop? You know how, by the way, interestingly enough, the backdrop that coaches and players stand in front of for football has roofclaim.com on it.
Right.
Okay. So is this now going to allow, right?
Everybody's going to put up their own banner behind
Does
them?
roofclaim.com come back and want to sponsor players? And how does that fit into the Florida legislature, which is trying to tell UCF that you can't have Roofclaim, right, as your sponsor? By the way, it's the sponsor on the basketball court. Okay. So what happens when the player negotiates
field,
what happens when the player negotiates his own deal with Roofclaim?
I mean, are they going to be able to put stuff on their uniforms?
No, probably
as well?
not. Probably not. But
no.
If you're Roofclaim and you're taking out print advertising, and
are they going to put it on their headband so when they take off their helmet, like old who was that? Was it Jeff George that did that back in the day when it was with the? Or
was it McMahon?
It was
Bears
McMahon.
quarterback.
It was McMahon. Sorry, not Jeff George. I always got those two mixed up.
Yeah. But you can see, right?
Yeah.
We just rattled off the top of our head. Like
there's a million
10 different things that could go goofy.
I'm sure some of you lawyer folks could come up with a bunch more.
Well, Chad Barr, who sponsors Knightline, I'm sure he's looking at players and saying, who does he want to fly their name on the airplane?
Who does he want to drag behind a plane over the stadium? Oh boy, a
lot of things there.
We could get a life-size and not a life-size, but like a massive inflatable player.
So you mentioned logoed clothing or jersey, but could they have a press-on face tattoo following a game? They take their helmet off, or after a basketball game, a little press-on logo on their
T-shirt underneath their pads. They lift up their shirt and show the T-shirt.
You know someone's going to push the envelope on this somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have their sponsors' names on the bottom of their shoe or something. Like there's going to be all kinds of problems.
Wild West.
Oh yeah, I think it's the end of college football or college athletics.
Big 12, Bob Bowlesby, NCAA will be, quote, lucky to get through upcoming football, basketball seasons without disruptions. He's thrown open the possibility of maybe a split season.
He's an idiot.
Well, that may be.
He's a complete idiot.
But he's a powerful commissioner.
He's an idiot.
He's a powerful commissioner.
He's an idiot.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey hopes there will be unity among the FBS conferences when it comes time to resume college football, but caution, it is not a necessity everyone move forward as one. Sankey quoted as saying there is room for different conferences to make different decisions. If there's a couple of programs that aren't able, does that stop everyone? I'm not sure it does.
Here we go. This is one more reason for the SEC to leave the rest of college athletics and make their own league and do their own thing. Good riddance, goodbye, go. Seriously.
Let everybody if there was anyone that would want to try it, you get the feeling it would be them.
I would love it if they did it. Good. Let everybody else have a real... Okay, I've come to this...
a lot of money, though, in the SEC.
I've come to this conclusion, though. If the SEC wants to leave, let them do it. And then the NCAA could take over college football, the championship, and have a real tournament, just like Division II and Division III and the FCS does now. The SEC is the ones that I'm sure has a lot of issues with all of this and the ESPN contracts.
They shouldn't. They get 2 out of the 4 every year.
I understand they do, but they also, their commissioners are saying stuff like this. So if they want to go. And let the NCAA regulate everything the way that it should be. Give everybody a fighting chance where they know when they step on the field for the first time, they are just as likely as any other team to win the national championship. It's not stacked against you from the start.
But, his quotes are curious, though.
Hell yeah. They are. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he's doing.
Does he go so far as to say, just hypothetically, things aren't good in where Vanderbilt is, okay? So maybe Vanderbilt can't play. Maybe we'll move on without Vanderbilt on the schedule.
Yeah, well, then add UCF in there.
I like that. There we go.
If you want to do that, if you want to look at it like that, we can look at it like that. We'll join them if we can't beat them. But
we're already talking about maybe there'll be some, especially for your softballs and soccers and other sports, maybe more regional scheduling, at least in the short term.
I don't know about that. I don't think that this whole thing. Yes, it's going to hurt this season a little bit, but I don't think this is going to drag on for years.
But I think this gives a conference an opportunity to maybe reevaluate its membership too.
It's going to give an opportunity for a lot of people to make a lot of mistakes.
We haven't played the As the World Turns music in a while. We haven't talked conference expansion in a while. So this gives us an opportunity to dream.
As the world turns.
Boot Vanderbilt, bring in UCF. What do you think?
That's fine.
Okay.
And then we can break off, I guess, with the SEC. And
then we're for it.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Then we're all for it.
If it benefits you, you're for it. If it doesn't benefit you, you're not for it. Hello?
All right. 4th week of polling on this. Based on what you know now.
Those numbers are changing.
Do you think North Carolina opens the 2020 season at UCF football on Friday, September 4th? A week ago, no beat yes. Pretty similar back-to-back weeks. Last week it was no 53-47. This week, that dropped 10 points. Yes, 57%. No, 43%. So it shifted over the course of the last week. Some of that certainly is optimism, cautious optimism on the part of fans.
Optimism is a beautiful thing. Why shouldn't we be optimistic at this point? We have to be. There's some light at the end of the tunnel on all of this stuff, especially with Florida starting to open back up tomorrow.
There's 130 division, what is it, FPS programs.
It's 130 now?
130.
So they added a couple.
So you have ones that are in current hotspots, like Tulane in the American, in
Yeah,
New
but
Orleans.
I mean, it's not.
It's today. It's just a today snapshot. Georgia Tech
I
in
don't
Atlanta
necessarily think
is a hotspot. So
are those? I mean, hotspot. How do you consider something to be a hotspot?
well, wherever there's been
Is
a
this
flare,
your version of a hotspot?
well, wherever there's been a flare-up, Georgia's reopened, and you've seen an uptick in numbers. So I'm just saying, as of
Well,
today,
the uptick in numbers is because
you got 130.
People don't understand.
Well, just because you disagree with an opinion doesn't mean I don't
I'm
understand.
not
And I'm not trying to
disagreeing with
talk
your-
about the
No, no, no,
politics.
I'm
I'm
not-
talking about
no,
130
no.
1A
No.
programs. It's hard to make sure they're all going
I
to
just
have
wondered where
protocols in
you were
place.
getting your information of something being a hotspot. I don't see on my map that Georgia has any hotspot.
Atlanta has had issues in Georgia, as has New Orleans, Tulane, and there are other
What
spots.
county
with
is Atlanta in?
Fulton, right? Isn't
Okay,
it
well,
Fulton?
Doherty County, wherever that is higher than Atlanta.
But there's a lot of
Atlanta
people
only
in
has.
Atlanta.
Are they in Fulton County?
Fulton.
They have 122 deaths. That's nothing compared.
What I'm saying is,
So
all 130 of these schools
I know, but
are
just-
not equal.
We should be careful using the words hotspot. I think
Well,
we should be careful with the language.
You have
that
places
we
like
use.
Boston College. You have places
Well,
like Rutgers in New Jersey.
And those are fine and dandy to call hotspots, but I wouldn't call New Orleans a hotspot anymore, and I definitely would not call Atlanta a hotspot.
That you can have safety protocols in place, cleanliness, health for all of these programs in their locker rooms, 100 student athletes, trainers, staff. Still seems like a tall heft for all of these programs in what is now a relatively short period of time.
That is.
Also, you're talking about thousands and thousands of athletes. You just assume that every parent is going to be comfortable and confident having their student athlete play in uncertain conditions.
Well, there has to be rules. I mean,
Yeah.
there has to be ways to do it. I mean, but
So all the game planning that we hear them talking about is what you do if you lose a non-conference game, if you shorten the season, if you split the season, if you move to spring. To be ready, in UCF's case for September 4th, how are you going to make sure all your student athletes and staff are safe? And same for North Carolina coming here. And how do you do it? And I know they're working on it. All these programs are working on these particulars. It's just hard to see all 130 being at the same point when you get to week 0. It's just hard to see that today.
No, I mean, yeah, I could
Just today, but it is
I mean, they
interesting
could
that the poll numbers
play
changed.
someplace else, maybe. I mean, come out of their state and play in another state, or play all road games, or something. There's got to be something, and I guarantee you, the people that are paying all the money for all this stuff to happen, which is kind of us in a way.
ESPN's going to have a say in what happens.
ESPN's
too.
definitely going to have a say in it, and ESPN is pushing to get this going as easily as possible and as quick as possible. Trust me. There's a lot of corporate sponsorship in college sports, besides the players, but everything else. There's a ton of money. I mean, I don't think the average person understands the money that is involved in college football.
So I'll give you another example. So we're talking about, maybe we drop conference or just conference only schedule, but you have Army that is independent, Massachusetts, I guess UConn now, right? Notre Dame, BYU. By the way, Notre Dame opens with Navy in Ireland. I mention that because there's a report out Sunday that the Dolphins game in England, the NFL has said you're not going to play that in England. It's going to revert back to the United States. So if you're Notre Dame, we're talking about North Carolina opening up on September 4th. August 29th, Navy Notre Dame in Ireland. At some point, they have to make a decision whether they're going to send those programs and all their staff. UCF's participated in a game in Ireland, so it's a big traveling party that goes on. They're going to have to make a decision whether they want to play in Ireland. And then you look at the other places that Notre Dame plays games, and they've got decisions to make. They can't just play a conference-only schedule for 8 games. That's not how they operate. So It's a different calculation. And you're not coming up with a plan. You could come up with a plan that leaves UMass behind and UConn behind, but no ESPN plan is leaving Notre Dame out of an equation.
True. I mean, there's a lot. See,
it's just an interesting snapshot. We saw a 10%, 10-point tick
I bet
up.
if you took this poll right after you've given this long dissertation of how this is, all the all this stuff?
I'm skeptical this is happening September 4th.
Well, obviously you are.
I am, just because of all of
Obviously.
that. I just think there's a lot happening, even as there's not a lot happening.
I think that some people think that there's more happening than is, though, as well. So
I just know they're game planning all of these scenarios, and there's just, I mean, Notre Dame's thinking about it a whole lot different than UCF when they've got to consider Ireland as part of the mix.
Oh, I wouldn't do that personally if I was them. I wouldn't go out of the country. I wouldn't take an 8-hour flight and go anywhere. Personally.
Well, I know some people that have canceled European travel for many reasons.
I do not have the Rona, by the way. I just have a dry throat.
One of which was that if there were some sort of flare-up, they wouldn't want to get stuck in a country that might shutter its borders. They might not be able to fly out. They might get ill in another country. So they've canceled a scheduled trip, as I'm sure many people have for all variety of reasons and all variety of places. But you wonder whether Notre Dame and Navy want to make that travel.
It's true.
Not too far away,
right.
you know?
Thanks for the bad news.
I don't know if it's bad news.
Well,
it's just
no, but I
conversation.
mean, it's like, yeah, but it's got all negative overtones on it.
It's a
I
different
felt
perspective.
a lot better about it until after listening to you, and now I don't feel nearly as good about it anymore. So.
Well, you were part of the
So thank you very
57%
much.
that voted yes.
I didn't vote on
No.
that.
You didn't vote on that?
No. But anyway, all right, what's next?
All right. Shift to positive. Shaquem and Shaquille, we had opportunity to talk with via Zoom session. It's you remember seeing, and I know you've gotten to know the family, and you remember the video of their dad making the weight equipment so Shaquem could, train and all of that. They're back home with the family.
They're probably using the old gear.
Which I just think there's a certain, it's come full circle, and they're back home with the family and
got
they're training.
They've got enough money now; they could build their own gym as big as they want. So,
but it's nice to know they're just back home
Yeah.
working out and
No,
with
absolutely.
family, and certainly for UCF, right? You think about the brand again. All sorts of headlines with those two guys giving the commencement speech for the virtual graduation. So
yeah, we got a couple of clips from that Zoom meeting. Here's one where you ask if they might use any catchphrases that their coaches use.
Will you borrow any phrases from Coach Carroll or any of your other coaches through the years that you'll work into your speech?
I may use one from Coach Frost when we always say attack the day. Attack the day, don't let that day attack you. So I mean that's something that I still use to this day. You got every opportunity to go for the day and take full advantage of it, or let the day take advantage of you, and then next that's the day that you want to enjoy.
I'm gonna speak completely from the heart, whatever comes first. I wanted to be truly authentic, and I think doing that, I feel like more of the students will be able to relate to what's going on, what's happening, if I just be truly honest and authentic and let them know exactly what I've been through and what's going on. And, I just want to be able to relate and feel exactly what I'm saying. So if some phrases come out, then it will.
All right. If the phrases come out, then it will. I love those guys because they're having fun with this, obviously.
they got all spiffed up, too. They got dressed up for their commencement speech.
And then this next one that you ask, I like this question and the comments that they had about some life lessons that they've learned.
You've experienced a lot on and off the field since your UCF days. What's an important life lesson that you would share with people since your UCF graduations?
I think the best thing to share for this moment is knowing when things get rough, being able to fight even harder. And I say that because, yes, it's a thing that's easy to say, but definitely, a task to do. And I really want to relate this message to them because I want you to know is when something really gets tough and something get hard, you have to think, is this possible? Can I do this? And the question is, you asking yourself is, can you do it? But it's a yes every single time. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can accomplish this. Yes, I can get past whatever's in front of me. And I want everybody to know is when things get hard, push even harder. Things get hard, people like to pull back and say, oh, I might not reach that goal. It seems a little far reach. Don't settle. Don't settle for things don't just settle for things that just won't be in your favor. Everything should be in your favor. You put your mind to it. Sorry for the mix up with the words and stuff, but whatever you put your mind to, you should be able to accomplish that no matter if it get hard or not. You know, when it get tough, just push even harder. Keep working, keep believing in yourself, and you'll accomplish a lot of things.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'll share, is a story. Coming from high school, going into college, I felt like I was that guy. I was on my high horse. Being highly recruited and coming to UCF. Everything changed. I wasn't that number one guy. I wasn't, that person that everybody already knew. So I had to go through phases, to become my own. And, leaving high school, I felt like I knew who I wanted to be. I felt like I knew my worth. And as I went through my years, I think it's my junior year where I felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I didn't know if I wanted to quit football. I didn't know if I wanted to transfer. It was so much going through my head because I hit so many walls. And I forgot who I was. I forgot my worth. The situation when they sent my brother home. There's so many different things that went through my head that I felt like I wanted to give up. And like I said, I forgot my worth, forgot who I was, and I didn't know how to push through. And seeing my brother get the opportunity that he did get, he was the reason why I got through that situation. I remember, like I said before, all we needed was opportunity, and that's all he needed. And when he got it, he took full advantage of it, and it kind of motivated me. To remember the reason why I'm here, the reason, what I went through, what I sacrificed to be, at UCF, to be able to play football. And, it took more, to understand that. And that's the story I will leave with it. I forgot my worth. I forgot who I wanted to be. But, after seeing my brother strive, and do so many great things when he got the opportunity to, it motivated me to find that, that person who I once was, and continue to get back to what I know, and that's just pushing as hard as I ever did, my whole life.
All right, well, thoughtful stuff by both of those guys there. So I'm glad that they had the opportunity to do this. I think we should hear their full speech in its entirety. If you haven't heard it, it's about 8 minutes long. Here it is.
What's up, Knight Nation? Class of 2016 here, Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin. And first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to everybody that's graduating this year's class. I also want to say thank you to UCF for giving me and my brother this opportunity to speak this year commencement speech. Definitely an honor. And today, I thought about writing a speech down. You usually do, but I want to be authentic. I want to be real, and so I'm here, no pen, no paper, just me. And first thing I want to talk about is just real life and real life after graduation. And the first thing, first you got to know your worth. Know your worth, know the sacrifice you made to get here today to graduate, and you all earned it, you all deserve it. So going out there, I want to tell you guys a little story. I'm going to revolve around athletics because it's the easiest way for me to express how I feel. So you guys just bear with me for a little bit. I remember leaving high school, attending my first year at the University of Central Florida, and I was on my high horse. I was on cloud nine, just felt like I was that guy. I came from high school, well-known guy in high school. He was that dude. And I got comfortable with that. And that's who I thought I was. And attending UCF, you start to go through different scenarios and hardships, through college. And all you guys can relate, there's always been some hard times in college. And so going through my freshman year, my sophomore year, heading to my junior year, I hit a little wall. And this wall caused me to forget who I was, forget the worth that I thought I had. And it put me in a position where I felt like I couldn't finish. I thought I was going to make it, and I had second thoughts about who I would become or who I am becoming. And, and it's kind of cool to tell the story because, my brother, being the guy that he is, and he motivates so many people, he doesn't even know that, he's one of my biggest motivation. Going into my senior year, his junior year, him finally getting the opportunity to play for the first time. If most people do know our story, you kind of know everything that he went through, since he was a child, attending UCF, and just see him get the opportunity and take full advantage of it because he always knew his worth. He never forgot his worth. Everything that he'd been through, he overcame it because he always knew who he was, should I say, I'm sorry. And that kind of brought the light back to who I was and who I am. I figured out who I wanted to be, and I found my worth. I knew I was going to be something great, and I had to believe in that. And the only thing I could ever ask for was opportunity, just like he asked for. And I knew once I got the opportunity, I was going to take full advantage of it. So the main thing is never forget your worth. You know, to this day, I will never forget again. And you guys should never forget your work, because look where you're at today. You made it this far to graduate, and you deserve that. And now it's time for you to just find your purpose. What's the reason why you do all that? What's the reason why you sacrifice so much time away from family, you know, to be able to get this next exam done? Make sure you have the best grade so you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. You know, so find your purpose, find what makes you happy, find what you love, and you take full advantage of it. And remember, being a UCF Knight, all we ever needed was opportunity. And, you know, and being a fellow alumni, that's all we ever needed, and then you take full advantage of it. You know, I feel like there's no one better than UCF, and I feel like we are the future. So let's continue to be great. Let's continue to, you know, strive for a better tomorrow. And let's do it. You know, you deserve it all. And I'll let my brother take it on from here. Yeah, but that's a tough one to come behind. I want to say thank you to UCF and fellow alum and future alum for allowing my brother to do this commencement speech. Yeah, it's a lot I can say. I mean, coming to UCF, man, being a young pup, not knowing what's going on. But one thing I can say about UCF is it allowed me to figure out who I was. It allowed me to experience certain things like adversity. And not only adversity, but, you know, certain pleasures as opposed to, you know, meeting new friends, new family, being a part of a great nation like Knight Nation. UCF did so much more than just being on the school campus and seeing the beautiful scenery and being in Orlando. UCF brought brotherhood to me. It brought family to me. It brought so much more than I would never have thought to accomplish or gain at a school. No, it's so crazy right now. I thought about writing a speech, but I did not. I thought about getting help from my agents or somebody else let me write it. But it wouldn't be true to me and to you unless you heard my words and how I felt. And I felt that y'all should hear from the heart. And all jokes aside, I'm in like a half suit right now, and I appreciate you guys at home comfortable. And it's like wondering why we, you know, doing the commencement speech over the phone, but, you know, doing this, you know, very, very serious topic. And, you know, with the coronavirus and everything, make sure we all practice social distancing. But yeah, man, we want to make sure that you hear from us. And the one thing I really want to talk about is adversity. And I think adversity made me who I am today. Just to put more into it, don't let adversity dictate who you're going to be. I mean, this is a time in your life where you're going into the real world, as what our parents would say. But take advantage of every opportunity you get. Don't allow obstacles and different barriers that's going to be in your way to dictate who you're going to be and what kind of person that you want to set out to show everybody. Just to give you an example, you know, just come out of college. You know, I didn't know how I was going to go. I didn't know how the job was going to be. I didn't know where I was going to be at. You know, by the grace of God, I got an opportunity to be back with my brother. You know, the best feeling that you can ever get. And even through that time, I felt like, you know, everything was going my way. I felt like everything was figured out until it wasn't. You know, I experienced a lot of adversity during my first year in the league. But that was just something that I needed to go through. That was something that taught me. That's something that built me to be a better person. But I wouldn't know how to do that unless I was an alumni of UCF. What separates us from everybody else in other schools, the other nations, is that we're strong. We know adversity, we felt it before, and we know what to do when it comes. You beat it, you fight it, and you attack it every single day. It comes at you, and you become a better person, a better you. Now, through the adversity, you always got to learn how to be strong. You always got to know when things get hard, you fight even harder. And that's one thing I want you all to take with you. Don't let adversity, don't let obstacles stop you from being great. Don't let obstacles stop you from helping the next person out to you. Look to your left and look to your right and know that you got people behind you supporting you. And always know that you're never alone. I got you, Knight Nation got you. We all got each other. So always remember that. And one thing I want all of you to take with you, when you leaving this beautiful campus and you can't come back unless you come for more schooling, help somebody out. Be great. Change the world. That's what we're here for. That's what we came to UCF for, because we wanted to help it. We wanted to change the world. We want to make the world a better place. If I know I can help one person, that one person can help 10, and that 10 can help 1,000 later. So with your help, with your greatness, the Knight Nation greatness, let's make the world a better place. And I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing all of you out there. Knight Nation, fellow alum, congratulations. I'll be seeing you soon. And one more thing. Knight Nation, being the best nation, we refuse to be put in a box or be categorized and think that what we can't be and what we will be, let's continue to be great because we are great and we are this future. So, like my brother said, let's change the world. Go Knights.
All right. Well,
so they were on a submarine of some
sort. They were
over in St. Pete.
They were in the bathroom of the stadium or something. It sounded like. I wasn't going to say anything.
You must be going crazy. The audio quality on some of these backdrops for reporters and certainly players, coaches,
it does drive me a little crazy.
You miss the tractors and the ice machines, don't you, a little bit now?
Yeah, I mean, we had Nevelle, Clarke there. If y'all didn't catch it, there was a microwave. There was some food making. I think there may even have been a smoke detector beeping in there. We could have had some trivia with a lot of those things, but yeah,
we've had guys switch to their Bluetooth in their cars. They've gotten into their cars. You've heard that before.
There's all kinds of I mean, people should really think about this kind of stuff. I mean, we don't have the most sterile of noise environments here, but you can tell that we're not we're not in a bathroom or something. I don't know if it was a bathroom. It was just a room that those guys were sitting in. You could see on the video. It's like it's cinder. It's like a brick wall or whatever.
And for sound quality, it bounces all over the place.
It's not meant for sound quality whatsoever. You should be in a soft room and soft things on the wall or whatever. I used to. There's some of you probably that don't understand. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I used to be a touring engineer, the guy that when you go to a rock concert, the guy that's standing behind the big board with all the buttons on it, and making the band sound good. All of those, I used to tour in all those arenas and stadiums and amphitheaters and all that stuff. So I can hear the littlest, tiniest things, and they drive me crazy. Certain arenas, we would always do, if you think about this, when we do sound checks before there's anybody in these arenas, it's like a giant, room full of bouncing sound waves. And then, so I would always do my sound check to sound a certain way, to sound very harsh, so when people came in, it sounded very soft. And then there were some arenas that even had... You go to the nicer arenas and they have seat cushions on the back of the seats instead of that being a hard seat of all those seats that are in the arena. Boy, does that make a huge difference in an arena for sound quality when they have soft backs on the seats, believe it or not, when they're empty. So, little things like that. Little things. It's all about little things.
You miss that game day audio at the baseball stadium, the beeping tractors.
Well, yeah.
A little bit.
I loved the humming of the refrigerator, actually.
Basketball game.
The soda
Sometimes
machine.
they forget to unplug that.
Yeah. And then you hear them unplug it like halfway through or whatever, yeah. Good stuff.
But it was good to hear from the Griffins and good to see them. And good to see them.
I could
bright lights.
Yeah, I could care less where they do their speech from. Yeah. I'm just messing around.
Shout out to @JordanH_Knight, who wrote to us on Twitter. I kept refreshing my news feed waiting for Knightline to drop. It's Saturday, she said. So I wrote her back and I said, you're like everyone else. It's all one long, never-ending day of late. And she said, that's why I kept waiting for you guys last night. I have no idea what day it is. So it was
nice. Now all the shows on the Knightline Sports Network come out at 5:30 in the morning, by the way. That's my time to drop them on the days that they're supposed to. So Knightline is Monday, and so on and so on. Suns is Wednesday. Jeff Allen's Thursday. Knightline the morning after is Friday. Sometimes Saturday if I forget to post it on Friday, though.
So I thought that was... cute. She also posted, by the way, that they were going to watch the replay of the football game.
I don't like it.
And she said, how long, I guess she did a poll or asked on Twitter, how long should I let my 4-year-old stay up? And, of course, the overwhelming was as long as he wants to stay up. And I asked the next day, well, what did he stay up? Stayed up. So that's good. That's good parenting right there. Stay up and watch that game late.
I'm not watching any of these things except for I'm watching the Fight Library that is on UFC. Fight library, whatever they call it.
Well,
That's
Jordan H_Knight asks us ahead and ask Knightline, should the UCF TV radio replays become a normal off-season thing? We will weigh in on that. I think you'll weigh in a little bit next on Knightline number 230.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Night Nation, this is Adam, one half of the dynamic duo that is the Sons of UCF, which is found only on the Knightline Sports Network. Join UCF Mike and I each week as we bring you some of the latest from in and around UCF sports, including such great segments as the Josh Heupel Translator, Top 8 Lists, and Cow of the Week. We'll also bring you some of the most in-depth and unique interviews with some of your favorite former Knights. You don't want to miss a moment, so make sure you subscribe to the Knightline Sports Network wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll take care of the rest. Go Knights. Charge on.
Ask a Knightline is brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Chad is a UCF alumnus and diehard Knights fan. Chad Barr Law handles auto accident, slip and fall, and personal injury cases. Call Chad today at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation. That's 407-599-9036. Armor up and call Chad Barr Law today.
All right, that time in the show where we take your questions. Ask Knightline, the ones that you send to us on Facebook or via Twitter at #AskKnightline. At @GoKnights_Paul J. University of Alabama announces there will be football. Of course they say that. Is UCF going to play Georgia Tech in September or UNC at home? We know where you stand.
I think so, yes.
Yes.
I think that it's all going down.
I don't know is my answer.
Pure speculation at this point.
So there's another one. We got a double there from Go Knights. Why are the Cows using a Buccaneer player that has no connection with the school in its recruiting? By the way, they have billboards and other marketing materials up that shows Rob Gronkowski in a Buccaneer uniform as part of their recruiting graphics along with a commit and a Cow player that was not drafted in the NFL draft, this Wilcox.
Because they're horrible. I mean, they have nothing else to recruit on. What else do they have?
So they're glomming on to Rob Gronkowski?
Where did he go to college at?
He went to where? Arizona State? Is that
I
right?
have no idea.
Is that where he went?
I have no idea.
Let me look that up.
I mean,
was not prepared for that. I don't remember where he went.
Well, no, but I mean, but they're.
Well, why would you do that?
Because they're desperate.
Them.
They're desperate over there. They're desperate.
Arizona.
They're desperate.
University of Arizona, not Arizona State.
Did I play this yet?
Is that ridiculous? And, we've had Chris Torello of Spectrum Sports on before, back when we were doing more of those football previews, the interviews. And, he's a provocateur. His stuff plays in Orlando.
A couple of those people that are provocateurs over there.
And he took a little bit of a shot during the week when he said that these great graphics, I'm paraphrasing here, would trigger UCF fans. Really?
So that's why they did it. Their whole entire advertising campaign was just to trigger the Knight fans. Please.
Here we go. This is from at Torello Sports, May 1. And again, he's on Spectrum, so he's in Tampa, and some of his stuff airs in Orlando. UCF fans are starting to comment on the South Florida recruit graphics. It means they're good. It means they're getting noticed. It means they're having a positive effect. By the way, their slogan is #US2F does a good job recruiting Central Florida and the East Coast of Florida. That's their slogan, by the way.
US2F?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it stands for? I had to look it up. It wasn't immediately obvious to me.
That they were number 2 once in a poll?
They love that number, don't they?
Yeah.
Where is it? But so anyway, he's taking a shot saying that we're going to react to it because, I don't know, what are we jealous of it? We admire it?
We're reacting to it because it's stupid.
It is kind of dumb.
It's purely stupid.
I'll have to. It's refreshing. I can't remember.
STUPID. Stupid.
It's #US2F, which stands for United Start to Finish.
Really?
United Start to Finish.
Okay.
They also think they're Tampa's hometown team, and we know better than that.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That's the logo there.
It's ridiculous.
That's the logo. US2F.
These.
I don't know.
I mean, where did they get their...
You know what? Keep doing it,
It's
though.
the same thing with, like, remember that old bus driving Willie thing? It's the same thing. It was horrible. This is horrible.
I don't think I want any of these recruits if that's what impresses them.
How can they use Gronkowski and Brady's image in their stuff? Because they play in their rented stadium? That's the closest they're going to get.
That may be the tie-in. Maybe they're required to incorporate Buccaneer logos and such in their advertising as part of their stadium agreement.
I think this is horrible.
But you know what?
Ridiculous.
We know this from watching and,
Not a
and
Bucs
looking
fan,
at and
by the
looking at
way.
social media. We know that UCF does a great job with their social media approaches.
They are awesome compared
and
to lots of people.
In Tampa are in stark contrast.
Horrible.
They are not even. I mean, you
Horrible.
could tell if they were competing and coming up with nice graphics and things like
Yeah.
this. Rob Gronkowski didn't even
Half
go
of
to
their
the school.
graphics are messed up too. Like they do some really messed up stuff in their graphics. I mean,
it rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Wow. Yeah, we are
US2F.
so lucky, folks, to have people like
Eric
Eric
DeSalvo
DeSalvo and
social
all
media.
those guys. Yeah,
US2F. They want that number 2 in there because they were number 2 in one poll one
for
time.
1 week. 1 week they were number 2, and then they got their asses handed to them. Come on.
Yeah. But we're unnerved.
I feel
we're
like
triggered.
Chris Berman over here. Like, come on.
We're triggered by it, according to Chris Torello.
I'm not triggered.
He's just trying to get a little engagement.
Yeah. Well, that's his job.
All right,
He's
Jordan
a
again
shock
with
guy.
our next question that I teased going into the break there. Should UCF TV radio replays become a norm in the offseason? I think so.
No, we've done too much of this.
No, I think so.
No.
But I'd like them to go back further in the archives. I'd like to see the Alabama UCF game from 2001.
Yeah, but put it on YouTube or something. Don't
But you know what's interesting? I have not seen the school from Tampa do anything like that. Where
what
they've
about
shown,
that game where they were number 2?
I should have shown that.
I mean,
well, they don't. It isn't about winning the games. Remember, it's about playing the games.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they
that's
should
right.
show the Wisconsin
That's right.
game where they got beat. Was it 49-0 or something this
or
year?
they were going to beat Wisconsin.
But remember,
Yeah.
Wisconsin fans filled the stadium.
Lord have
It
mercy.
isn't about beating the teams. It's about playing the teams.
Oh, man.
So they should have shown that game.
Wow. I guess.
They should have showed the Gasparilla Bowl that they were in where no one came.
They should show the Gasparilla Bowl where we were at, and their stadium was full of Knights fans. It was awesome. The rented stadium. It's
So
not their
you
stadium.
don't. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I haven't watched any of these replays. I would like to see him pull some different replays.
I can't watch these replays because I know what happens. You know what I'm saying? The fun of watching sports
is not knowing. So you haven't
is
watched
not knowing what's going to
Chiefs-
happen.
Chiefs games. You know what?
The Super Bowl was on the other night. I know people were talking about me on Twitter. I know what Andrew Phegley's doing. I was not.
You were
by the
not.
way, I did not watch that. I have not watched that over again since. Believe it or not.
I would think you'd want to watch the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, I can at any time on NFL Network. It's on there all the time. I mean, on demand. But I'm not gonna. I can't watch replays of stuff like that. I just can't. They're playing old NASCAR, except I guess things that. Okay. Like I think I said before a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about ones that we would like to see. There are some that I would like to see. For informational purposes, like I wasn't around at that time. You know what I'm saying? So the Dante Culpepper years games, the Alabama game, I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the entire thing. So those are fine, but I don't know. I'm ready. I think one of the things is I am so ready for live sports to start again, and I can't torture myself with watching a lot of these things. Now, I will watch fights that I never saw, and I've been watching a lot.
So you don't know the
fights.
outcome of these fights.
I do generally. I know who won, but I don't know how they won. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you could apply that to this as well, but watching the UCF stuff over again that I've watched probably 4 times anyway, I've watched most of those games that they've played. That they've broadcast or whatever over again because we talk about them. So I'll be at the game and then I'll come home on Sunday or Saturday night and watch the game over again. And then I might watch it again while I'm doing prep for this show So I've seen most of that stuff 3 and 4 times, maybe more.
I'm fine with them airing it as long as fans are having a good time with it. It
I
doesn't
got
bother
in
me.
my car and turned on the radio, and the AC championship game was playing for some reason. I hit the wrong button, I guess. I don't ever have that station on, but it kind of was like weird. It was weird. And then it kind of made me reminisce and be kind of sad as well. So, like, there's a myriad of emotions involved in this stuff, and I would just rather we didn't.
All right. I'm fine with it. Whatever makes fans happy. Watch, don't watch.
No, I mean, if it's your thing, that's fine, but it's just not my thing.
Gotcha. Jordan, what about you? Are you watching them or not watching them? That's my question. Back to you. Thanks for the questions.
Do a poll. Do a poll and see if people are watching them and if they're not. And I mean, I'm not.
Well, when I clicked on for a couple of moments to watch the one the other night, there were like 213 people watching. So I don't know that it's like
it was on Facebook or something, or what was it on? And there was 213 people
I saw
watching
213
live.
and it was whatever point in the game, and I bailed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not making any revenue on that, I can guarantee it.
No. Thanks for your questions. Send them in. #AskNightline.
Absolutely. And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports. Women's tennis, a program first. 2 members were named All-Americans. Senior Rebecca Slomar and sophomore Marie Mattel named doubles All-Americans by the ITA.
Men's tennis junior Gabriel DeCamps is the first singles player in men's tennis history to earn All-American honors.
Men's soccer adds Mohamed Tavrar from the Monteverde Academy to the 2020 recruiting class.
Even in quarantine, the night shine. UCF students win a state title and 2 runner-up finishes in the first ever Battle for Florida FIFA 20 video game tournament, outpacing the University of Florida, Florida State, and US2F.
This is the other thing. All this virtual sports. Gotta go. Gotta go. And finally, congratulations to Clay Perry, a senior member of the wrestling club at UCF, for winning a gold medal in the 174-pound weight class at the National Collegiate Wrestling Association Championships. That's cool.
Did he do it for real, or was it just a virtual thing?
I don't know.
No, he did it for real.
Maybe it was a video game.
He did it for real.
No, that's awesome. That's very,
Congratulations.
very cool. You don't hear a lot about the wrestling club. That is one that you don't hear about because it's not an official scholarship sport.
We've got it covered for you.
Yeah.
Action-packed
absolutely.
show. Huh?
It was. It's a long one. I'm sorry that it's taken this long to get through all of it, folks, but
You got all week.
yeah, we had
listen.
stuff that we needed to do and stuff that people we needed to talk to
Nate,
and all this
Nevelle,
stuff. You couldn't not talk to our draft guys. All right, well, this has been Nightline 230. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights!
Charge on.
To the field with our spirits will never yield. Black and gold charge right through the line. Victory is our cry.